I caught this conversation online, right? And this is a thread, right? So Moneybag said, I used to wear an African pendant because I believed in the idea that we were all one. Then reality hit. For decades, foundational Black Americans have tried to reconnect with our distant cousins across the Atlantic, only to be rejected and labeled Katas. Pan-Africanism has always been one-sided, right? And then magically he got blocked from the post. A response said, it's your stupid fault for believing that human beings are some type of monolith, and stop calling us distant cousins. We don't know you and we don't like you. And that's okay. Mind your business and we mind ours. Our cultures are not compatible, so please stay in our own lane. And then above, Mike said this, Nigeria has spoken, and I agree with him. It's our fault for thinking we are anything alike outside of our skin tone. And the conversation continues. This person said, a random faceless Twitter with 45 followers that could possibly be FBI, FBA, makes a comment and Nigeria has spoken. Y'all is bozos. Mike responded, so you, a tether, attack the person responding and not the person who tweeted this. Typical hashtag tether logic. Guy responds, I don't care who started it. I'm telling both of y'all suck us to shut up. And boy behind a burner account, but you using him as a rep, you from the towns, I'll slap the ish out of you in real life. You could tether that. Another person said, you got slapped out of your homeland. You ain't about that life. He responds, he said, I'm still here in my homeland, silly. This weak individual sacrificed himself in the military, but your family's still hungry, crying for reparations. The white man got you. You and your bloodline, full of it. Go do something about that. He responds, we've never got slapped out of our country like you. You got your butt kicked so hard that you literally fled thousands of miles to New York. We can't relate. I can't imagine being like that. That is my thing. I don't know anybody from a can of paint, right? This is just a conversation that I stumbled upon, but I will say this. For far too long, even since I was in high school, I've seen online Africans talking real negatively about Black Americans. We don't got no culture. We don't got this. We don't got that. A lot of the same talking points that you would hear from a whole nother group, right? But this is coming from people all the way yonder. And then not only that, but Black Americans would hear this from other individuals from the islands and so on. So this is why I titled this Black Americans versus Everybody. And the most interesting thing that I find in this conversation is the fact that obviously we can tell that we have a old school military photo. That's a young man. He looked like 18, 19, like very, very early 20s, right? And the guy above decided that he wanted to take the image of somebody else's family member, right, which is used as a representation of the profile, and he wants to try to clown that young Black man who more than likely did more than he has done as a man at this moment in time. And I find that to be pretty weird. You're literally talking about somebody who lived light years more than you have, right? They did things that they had to do. Not that they wanted to do. They were living in a whole different time frame of which a lot of people, even of this day and age, would not even be able to survive and talk about. And then on top of that, going directly to war and more than likely surviving and coming back home, right? And again, Black Americans, no matter how we've gotten treated directly in this country, we've always done the utmost. We've always sacrificed. We've always given when we had nothing or when we didn't have to. We would always stand up for other people because we didn't have anybody stand up for us. We would always try to represent others when they had no representation themselves, right? When it dealt with certain issues or trying to get certain things done. 9 times out of 10, Black Americans are the main ones to step up and raise their hands to try to represent, protect, or give a voice to, or to try to march for other groups of people that feel marginalized in the United States, again, because of the history that we have. I can't tell you that for any other group out here. Historically, I can't tell you that for any other group out there that has continuously done this, no matter how it is that they've gotten treated. Can't tell you that, but I can historically sit up and tell you that all the groups that we've tried to help out and represent and give a voice to, that throughout the times that we were going through so many different things in America, they weren't standing up and speaking for us. They were just simply minding their business. Even though we were living on the same land, they were minding their business. They were opting out of the conversation. Some of them were to the point where they fought in order to get recognized as white versus where it is that they naturally came from. Amazing. And then when you find out that a lot of these other groups were treated differently when they came over, it's eye-opening. When you find out that Africans coming over are treated differently, people coming from the islands are treated differently, people that come from South America are treated differently. The only people that get treated and disrespected and looked down upon so harshly and have laws made specifically against them, realistically, are Black Americans. And then once we find out about those laws and we try to do what it is to get those laws off the books so that we can get treated like human beings, all they do is simply rewrite the laws and put them under something else different so that we don't know what it is. There's always a certain type of game that takes place in America when it deals with Black Americans. And because of conversations like this is one of the main reasons why a lot of Black Americans are hesitant about going over to Africa. Because on one hand, you'll have people sit up there and say, oh yeah, why don't y'all come back to the homeland, come back home and yada yada. How is there a quote unquote come back home when nobody even knows specifically where we directly came from? Nobody over there on that continent, it's just me and real, right? Nobody over there in Africa can specifically tell me where it is that I 100% came from. They can't. Because if historically you look at Africa as a whole, a lot of the people there are displaced. You've had a lot of wars, a lot of civil wars. You've had a lot of other countries come in and take over land and put people here and then put other people elsewhere. Like I said before, nobody can 100% tell me in Africa where it is that I came from. So how can you sit up there and tell me or any other Black American that we need to directly, come home, right? We need to do this and we need to do that. It doesn't make any sense. And then on top of that, yes, for the Africans out there, you guys can sit up there and say that Black Americans get treated harshly and all of these things happen. Yes, this is 100% true. Nobody's denying that. But the fact that you guys, whenever you talk about how Black Americans get treated, you never seem to bring up the fact of the issues that you guys have at home, right? Nobody wants to talk about the multitude of European governments that are still have their hands or taking over resources or land. How it is that a variety of those laws are still treating the natural born people there so harshly. The amount of unemployment that is there is egregious, given the fact that you guys are living on the most mineral rich land that we have on this planet. That is at least known. And for all of the beautiful nations that are there to be suffering the way that they are suffering, for those people to go through all of the things that they have to deal with, hunger, famine, homelessness, lack of money, lack of food, different types of diseases. It's crazy. It's 100% crazy. And this is coming from a person that has had to do videos showing how beautiful a lot of these nations are. How it is that they have, very great and beautiful cities. But along with those beautiful cities, there's also, again, internal types of wars and a type of treatment that happens with the group that has money versus the groups that don't have money. It's crazy. So, again, whenever it is that I see somebody wanting to do something like this to somebody that more than likely can't even defend themselves at this moment in time, you got to look at them sideways. And as a person sat up there in the stadium, more than likely the other person talking is a tether. Because never at any point in time have I ever felt the need to want to bring up somebody's relative who has fought in a war, who has sacrificed, who has done something that I never, or more than likely could never do. And especially in the time frame and the age of which they did it. It's crazy to me. It's 100% crazy. And then on top of that, for the most part, that you didn't see anybody here, within the thread decide to do the same thing to the other person X directly up there. Did not do that. So like I said, the disrespect is there, and points more than likely were proven throughout the thread. But again, I'm just doing this to showcase the fact that no matter what, Black Americans do, they will always face disrespect everywhere. You'll have people that were not even naturally born here, and they will still decide to come out of the side of their mouths and disrespect you. You will have people that just got here, and they will look at you and still decide to open their mouth and disrespect you. You will have people that will travel to and from the United States to Africa or wherever else, and they will still come out of their mouth to disrespect you. And then you'll have people that are just at home. It doesn't matter if they're on islands or if they're in the UK or if they're directly in Africa. They will be directly where it is that they reside and still open their mouths to disrespect you. So like I said before, Black Americans versus everybody. That just is what it is. There's no other way to sit up there and put it. Because again, we can clearly look at the podcast, we can look at the conversations. And a lot of times when I look at foreign podcasts, I see people talking about Black Americans and Black American culture, while also indulging in the exact same culture, while also trying to call it negative. It makes no sense. I'm looking at the shirts, I'm looking at the 50-50 caps, I'm looking at the chains, I'm looking at the glasses, I'm looking at the Nikes, right? I'm looking at the blue jeans. It's crazy. It's 100% crazy how that works, though. But again, Black people have no type of Black Americans have no type of influence or any type of a culture. Black Americans don't cause any type of a movement. So they say. It's wild. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I stated in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.